an addiction?
Is it an addiction? No, I don't think it's an addiction. I think it does put me, it makes me happy. But no, it's not an addiction.
So, for once in my life, let me get what I want. Lord knows.
You're gonna live with me now. Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna take care of you. Because I love you.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Folks, I mistimed that horribly. We are back. It's the Fantasy Football by Committee Thursday show, which is the start set section of the week, right before the Thursday night game. I am Zach McAdoo, your stupid little crown host, I guess we'll call it for tonight. We don't know where Henry is. To my left, I pointed the right way, what do you know, is Zach Espinosa. And Zach, we've had a crazy week already. It's only Thursday.
Yeah, I want to say that, shockwaves were sent around the league. It happened while everybody was sleeping. On Halloween night, not only was it an eventful night for all of you all over the world doing your Halloween activities, but it was an eventful night for the Oakland or Las Vegas Raiders because they let go of their general manager as well as their infamous head coach, Josh McDaniels. So I'm sure it was a sigh of relief to everyone across the world to hear that news. But the bigger question is what does that mean for your fantasy team? So I'm so glad I asked myself that question. I gave myself a nice little alley-oop. Man, I am like Jordan and Pippen in the 90s, just one after the other. So anyway, Aiden O'Connell, rookie, is named to be the starter moving forward by the new interim head coach. So if I'm hearing this, I'm dropping Jimmy G. I'm not even benching him on my team. I'm just straight up dropping him. I don't even think you can get any trade value out of him. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think I'm benching Devontae Adams. What are your thoughts about this?
This might be the first week you are right on that. I mean, the last week it didn't look well. I don't know what happened there with the Raiders. They just looked awful. Devontae Adams is more pissed off on the sidelines than him actually trying to do work on the field, it looked like. Yeah, and for the first time, there seems to be that rift you talked about 4 weeks ago or whatever. So yeah, not what you want to see out of a top tier receiver.
Well, and not to mention the Raiders' just offensive woes as well as fantasy woes after their loss, humiliating loss, I might add, on Monday Night Football. Josh Jacobs was asked about what are his thoughts about fixing the Raiders' offense, and he said something along the lines of, "That is not my job," end quote. And I mean, one, he's absolutely right. And then two, I don't know if this new coaching system is going to give Josh Jacobs the ball, especially with a rookie under center, Aiden O'Connell of all people. Aiden O'Connell fans, don't at me in the comment section. For all intents and purposes, he's not exactly the star quality yet that we know him to be. I would imagine that they go with Josh Jacobs to rely on him.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't. He seems to be the reliable hand and has been for years now. But you have a question mark on your center, so you want to kind of lean back on the running back and give more carries to Josh Jacobs, which they haven't done yet. I mean, you had a guy with glass bones and paper skin before Aiden O'Connell took over the starting job, you should have been handing off the ball to Josh Jacobs a lot more than you have been.
Yeah. So does that mean that Josh Jacobs is going to be an automatic start or an automatic sit?
He's a top tier back. He's a top tier back. Oh, who they play this week? I think it's the Giants. I mean, that's a start. That Giants defense, unless you're the Buffalo Bills,
If they are playing the Giants.
So
3 p.m. slot, midday slot for them.
Yeah.
I mean, is it any consolation that they are playing the New York Giants, who are top 3 worst teams in the NFL right now? I'd say you're going to be the Arizona Cardinals, the New York Giants, and I'd put the Chicago Bears up there for me. Or, you know what? I changed that now for the Raiders. I'd put the Raiders in the top 3.
It hurts that you're saying the Cardinals because they're my number 2. But, I mean, it's going to help them because the Raiders probably picked the right week to fire McDaniels, because this is probably their easiest week to game plan. If you're going to get rid of McDaniels, you might as well do it now. Mm-hmm. It's probably your easiest opponent of the year if you want to win. If they're planning on tanking, then who knows?
Yeah, and, Tyrod Taylor has been ruled out by injury. Daniel Jones is still recovering from that neck injury. I don't even know if he's slated to return yet, because it was news that Tyrod Taylor is out. Looks like we got our first question here in the chat. Would you trade Jacoby for DK? Jacoby Myers? Ooh.
Not a chance.
Yeah, especially with the Devontae Adams controversy still heating up. He could be released by them. Rumors are is that he wants a fresh start. He might force that trade. I think Jacoby Myers is too hot of a commodity right now for DK Metcalf, competing with Tyler Lockett and then JSN. Ooh, we got another question. Stoof, friend of the show, Stoof Curry. Stoof, nice to see you. Pickett or Levi's tonight? You know what? I'm going to go with Levi's, man. They brought him in there to have that strong arm, and he showed it. 4 touchdowns in his debut.
It's not Levi's. It's Levis. It's Levis.
Yeah. My bad. You're right. You're absolutely right. No, you're right.
You don't know how to pronounce anything. First it was Brahmas, when it's actually Brahmas, and now Levi's.
I will die on that hill. It is Brahmas.
It's not Brahmas. It's Brahmas, like the Brahma Bull. Oh my God.
I'm gonna die on that hill. Chad can tell me if I'm wrong.
You are wrong.
Levis or Wranglers? I gotta go.
So hold on. Let's get. Well, the trade deadline is over for some league for the NFL. Some leagues go until like way into November. Some have it shut off, which that's dumb in my opinion. But
yeah. Is this a question for fantasy? Would I trade Jacoby for DK or the Raiders? I would trade Levis or Wranglers. I gotta go with Levis.
No, but now they're asking Levi's or Wranglers, not Levis.
Well, I'm going to take this as Levis, as in, am I going to take Will Levis over some Wranglers? And I got to go with Will Levis because he's putting some mayonnaise in his coffee. He's eating bananas with the peel on.
Stop! I don't drink coffee, but even male,
dude's a man's man.
But I wear Levi's, so I'm going to go Levi's in this one.
I'm going to go with boxers.
That's
your answer.
Boxers aren't pants.
I'll make them pants.
Oh my God!
I'm not putting any jeans on. Boxers are the most you'll get out of me. I'm actually naked from the top down.
Okay, yeah.
Bottom down. You can't even see it.
Okay.
So, fantasy. Sorry. So Jacoby over DK ROS.
No.
That's a concisive no for us. Pigeon.
Yeah, 2 out of 2. Because my third isn't here.
Guys, these are wonderful questions. If you're just joining us into the chat, this show is heavily reliant on audience interaction, so please feel free to get those questions in. I'm going to move into the Stardom Situm articles that you can find on Flurry Sports. So it's a nice plug. All right, so let's start with my favorite fantasy position, the tight ends. So Bruder was kind enough to write this article for this week. Start and sit 'em week 9 tight ends include Kyle Pitts. So our 2 starts this week, according to Bruner, are going to be Kyle Pitts versus the Vikings, as well as Jake Ferguson versus the Eagles. Jake Ferguson, tight end with the Dallas Cowboys. So, Pigeon, we are saying do not trade away Jacoby for DK. At least that's what I'm saying. McAdoo, are you in agreement?
You want DK. Don't trade away Jacoby. Or don't trade away DK for Jacoby.
So, McAdoo is saying do trade away DK?
Oh, yeah. Wait. Hold on.
You want DK.
Do or do not trade away Jacoby for DK. Yes, take that deal if you can get it.
So we're split now, Pigeon. I'm saying don't. McAdoo is saying do trade. So
yes,
you do what you want.
If you're getting DK, take that trade.
You do what you want, Pigeon. You tell us how it goes. McAdoo, it looks like you're famous here. You got a question?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is the Burger King of Derrick Henry. So I almost said Travis Henry.
Whoa!
Oh my God, I almost did myself.
What was that? The Burger King? Burger King, is that you? Oh my gosh, guys. Dude, we got a special treat for you. We got Burger King in the house for tonight's stream. This is like the Manning cast, but we booked the king himself of burgers.
Can we get back to the damn fantasy football?
Alrighty, so back to the start and sit him. Do you agree with the 2 starts that Bruner has put out in his article? Kyle Pitts versus the Vikings and Jake Ferguson versus the Eagles. Do you have any thoughts on that, McAdoo?
You know I love me some Kyle Pitts. Bruner and I have gone back and forth on how Kyle Pitts has not been utilized enough. And so, yeah, I'm going to agree with Kyle Pitts. I was like Kyle Smith. Kyle Pitts being a stardom here.
Wonderful. Jake Ferguson kind of went off unexpectedly for the Cowboys. The tight end position as a whole is just so sporadic. So it was nice to see him get some love in that Dallas Cowboys offense that we hope can finally get the ball rolling. Again, especially against the Eagles of all teams. They've been struggling mightily, and the Cowboys look like they're correcting the ship. So I agree with this start of Jake Ferguson versus the Eagles. And then we have in our sit column for the tight ends, Jonnu Smith versus the Vikings and Taysom Hill versus the Bears. What are your thoughts, McAdoo? Do you agree with the?
Let me get to this comment first. So yeah, he's finally being utilized. We have been on this show, and I've talked about how he was not getting the targets like he should have been. He was not getting the stuff. Now they're actually throwing the ball to him. Kind of last couple of weeks. I think last week he was in not fancy. Oh, he's busting on us for I think bench warmer brand. Great content by the way, but not in yards earlier.
In your defense, Jonnu Smith at one time was considered a start over Kyle Pitts in fantasy, even though Jonnu Smith is the backup in Atlanta. And now Kyle Pitts is starting to get the ball more himself. So, and he's out there, he's doing cardio. They're paying him to do something. It's just a matter of if they're giving him the ball.
Yeah.
Don't worry, McAdoo, I got you. Bruder can't hurt us. I say that, and then he's magically gonna pop in the stream.
Yeah, you just ruined it. All right, get back to the start of the Jonnu Smith versus the Vikings is a sit. Taysom Hill versus the Bears. Did I say Bears? Yes, Bears. Mm-hmm. It's a sit. Which one do you want to take?
I'm gonna take Taysom Hill. So
damn it.
I this happens every year for like the past 2 or 3 years in fantasy. Taysom Hill goes off for a game or two, and everybody gets really high on their own supply. They think he is the steal of the year to pick him up. But he's never really been consistent in fantasy terms, at least not since they moved him over to the tight end position. What was I going to say? Also, with the offensive woes that they're having, people are saying that he's a sneaky start for the tight end position because he might roll over to the QB position, and then you get all of those points in your tight end slot. If somebody is going to replace Derek Carr in New Orleans, I think it's going to be Jameis Winston first before Taysom Hill. So I agree with the sit. He is consistently inconsistent. And
to piggyback on what you said, I hate I hate Taysom Hill being a tight end in fantasy leagues. I think if you're going to put him in a slot, it has to be QB. Because he doesn't really get the tight end. Like, yeah, they list him as a tight end, big whoop. Where do they usually have him? It's not a tight end. But
Yeah,
as far as Jonnu Smith,
they also signed Jimmy Graham back this year to try to bolster that position. Juwan Johnson is coming back from injury. They got Foster Morale. I don't think that Taysom Hill, of all people, is going to come in and just consistently have amazing games week to week. So, I mean, if you want to try doing that, you see how you do with that if you start him. All right, moving on.
But now to Hold on. I didn't get to Jonnu Smith yet. Jonnu Smith, he's tight end 2. He's finally showing that he's tight end 2, and the backup to Kyle Pitts, getting his targets down, not to where they should be. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Back to where they should be, or is what I probably meant to say there. But Kyle Pitts should be tight end 1, finally showing that kind of. And don't start Jonnu. There's like Bruner said, there's better tight end options out there.
So let's move on to arguably the greatest part of the show, which is going to be the stardom sit-em wide receivers. This is the hottest position in the NFL for fantasy, at least to me. Once again, this article, Stardom Sit-em Week 9 wide receivers, includes Zay Flowers by Zach Bruner, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. Over on Flurry Sports, go give that a read. He is going to have Zay Flowers versus the Seahawks and Deontay Johnson versus the Titans in his start. Do you have any thoughts about this, McAdoo? I'm
sorry, repeat that. I was looking at Pitts' targets the last 3 weeks. Yeah, he's right. 5, 5, and 6, and one of those targets was a touchdown that actually put him into better territory.
Ooh, that's a great point. So then, do you think that Kyle Pitts is going to be touchdown needy as a tight end?
Maybe with Heineke, because we saw a little bit of Heineke last week, but I don't know what to fully expect there.
Yeah, valid point. Yeah, I completely forgot about Desmond Ridder getting benched. Tyler Heineke going to be the starter for the foreseeable future. Kind of went under the radar. You're absolutely right. And when you're right, you're right. You're always right. So going into the Week 9 wide receivers, Zay Flowers versus the Seahawks and Deontay Johnson's versus the Titans. Bruner has those as starts. What are your thoughts about this, McAdoo?
I think I have Deontay Johnson on my bench for one of my leagues.
Wow.
Granted, this is also, he's saying this in a vacuum. We don't know what other receivers you have, but I'm trying to look now.
Oh.
And I know I got to hurry.
Oh, we got a question. Who should I start at flex? Deontay Johnson, Michael Pittman, or Scary Terry? I'm leaning Deontay, mainly just so I have someone to watch tonight. Fair and valid. So Bruder has Deontay Johnson ranked as a start. I'm inclined to agree with him. Michael Pittman or Scary Terry. I think out of those 3 options, I think I got to go Deontay Johnson. That, and he gives you the bonus of giving you something to look forward to tonight. By all means, go for it.
Yeah, I had Rashid Shaheed in for hopefully getting a big game, but I'm changing that back to Deontay Johnson. I'm seeing, but let's see. It's Washington plays who? I'm trying to look. Washington, New England. Pittman is facing.
Well, even then, do you buy Gardner Minshew leading this Colts?
Yes. Gardner Minshew has looked relatively good. I mean, he's scored a lot of points against the Browns defense not too long ago. Was it the Saints last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 27 with the Saints. Against the Saints. And the Colts play the Panthers this week. So Pittman might not be a bad choice there.
Ooh, all right. You got some things to think about, Patriots Super Bowl bound. Let's try to get you Fantasy Bowl bound, buddy. Let's hear about those results next week. Stoof. Likely 2024 first overall pick and Pickens or Kyler Murray and Marquise Brown in Dynasty. Stoof, I don't even think this is a question worth pondering. In a Dynasty league, the likely first overall pick and George Pickens, you got to go with the first overall pick. That is a hot commodity to have in Dynasty of all things.
Yeah, I'm an idiot when it comes to Dynasty trades, so I'm just going to abstain from a vote here. So I'll leave this all to you.
Yeah, and also Flurry Sports officially in the chat saying, take the pick and pick and Stoof with another question. We got another one, Yeet56. Thanks for joining. What's up, fellas? What is up to you? Full PPR, flex position, Deontay Johnson or Amari Cooper. I got to go Deontay Johnson all the way. Once again, Deontay Johnson, a start by Bruner in this week's article, which you can find on Flurry Sports. McAdoo.
Let's see, Deontay versus the Titans or Cooper versus the Cardinals. I guess I'll go Deontay Johnson, but it's not a bad play either way there.
I also just don't trust Amari Cooper with whoever it is at quarterback this week. Deshaun Watson said he doesn't even know if he's going to play. Yeah, exactly. And Flurry Sports in the chat beat me to it. He's taking first-team reps, but he's not committing to playing. So do what you want with that information. Patriots Super Bowl Balance said, dude, I'm sorry, but when you mentioned Pittman, my phone froze. Do you mind repeating what you said? Patriots, I'm saying I'm going Deontay Johnson at your start in flex. McAdoo, I believe you were
Pittman's playing the Panthers, so that's not a bad play if you go with him.
And we're both saying that we want to get you fantasy Super Bowl bound. So you tell us what you do and you tell us your results.
Did we go through the start sits? I know you started talking about Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, so we haven't finished. I haven't gone to the sits. So for our sits in the stardom, sit-em, wide receiver columns, we have Joshua Palmer at the Jets and Marquise Brown versus the Browns. Marquise Brown's of the Arizona Cardinals facing the Cleveland Browns. McAdoo, do you have any thoughts before we get into these questions?
So Marquise Brown does not have his typical QB1 anymore. Josh Dobbs has been shipped off to Minnesota in his spot. And I don't even know who the backup is in Arizona. So if Clayton Tune goes down, what the hell happens? But I don't know what to expect out of Clayton Tune. I never heard of this guy until preseason.
Yeah, and everybody was saying that the Cardinals were blatantly showing that they're committing to the tank by cutting Colt McCoy shortly before the season started, the only person with experience in their offense and with the team, and then signed Josh Dobbs or traded for him from Cleveland right before the year. And they haven't even committed to either or Kyler Murray or Clayton Tune, if I'm not mistaken. So he does have cankles, dude. Have you seen him? Dude's ridiculous. So, I don't trust anybody on the Arizona Cardinals offense for fantasy. I think it's a safe sit. Even in the tight end position, I'm not starting Trey McBride. I know he's been the talk of the town for tight ends as of lately. I ain't taking it.
Also, by the way, while we're on a guy you took from me in Dynasty and then yelled at me for who did you yell at me for taking, but I didn't actually take him?
Yeah. So, guys, this is a plug for our Fantasy Football by Committee, our Facebook group. We're trying to create the greatest fantasy community in all of the internet. You can ask questions anonymously on there. We really want to grow that community. We'll be there simultaneously in the chat to answer any questions. You can get feedback. McAdoo is referring to a stray that he had caught because we are in another league with Henry John, who you've seen on the show. I thought you had picked up Damari Davis. So I left a comment jokingly saying, hey, everybody, let me pick him up. Do me a favor, let me pick him up. And I thought you had picked him up. So then I said, wow, and freaking McAdoo picked him up. And he got a stray. It wasn't him.
Yeah, all right. Let's get back to the questions since they're starting to pile in. We got to go soon. All right, pick 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. DK, Higgins, Downs, Addison, Henderson, Hunt. I will say I love Kareem Hunt this week. I am big on Kareem Hunt against that Cardinals defense, so that might be the flex.
Yeah, I agree with you with the Kareem Hunt. So that's my flex, and then my 2 receivers. I think I'm going to go
DK and Addison.
The only thing that's stopping me with Addison is purely just because they traded for Josh Dobbs this week.
And I don't think they're going to start him either way. I think it's going to be Jaren Hall.
So I think just because of that, I think I'm going DK and Downs. So I mean,
yeah,
I don't think you can go wrong with DK or Higgins either. I'm going DK and Downs.
You can make a case for Downs, but I'm going to go Higgins. I think it's a safer play here. I think you might be touchdown dependent with Higgins, but I still think he's the better play, especially with that question mark of a Bills defense, and I say that as a Bills fan.
Fair. Yeah, I think Llama, it just depends on do you need a safer floor or do you need a higher ceiling? And that's a question for you to ask yourself.
First overall for Kyler. I mean, again, I don't know. I'm not good at dynasty trades, so.
No, first overall is never worth trading away. You have a shot at the league's potential best. You do not want to give that away for Kyler Murray, especially coming back from injury. You don't know what he's getting, and you're saying that yourself. If he plays like himself, could help me win the chip. It's a big question mark. Safety net of the first overall. Don't do it.
We're doing good. How about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, young star. Quite well, thank you.
All right. Mike Evans, Myers, Pittman, or Thielen. I'm going Thielen, Mike Evans. You're probably your best 2 there. And I think we already talked about Jacoby Myers. We don't want to trust him yet because we don't know what that offense is going to look like with Aiden O'Connell and a new head coach and offense coordinator.
So it's got to be Pittman by default. Mike Evans, Michael Pittman, and Thielen. Young star, I agree.
Edwards or Madison? I'm going to Edwards. There's no trust in Alexander Madison for me for a little bit.
Yeah, I think I got to agree with you. And that's even with the committee that is the Baltimore Ravens.
Not sure if I should chase the TDs from D-Hop or 14 targets. Espinosa, you want to touch this one first?
Yeah, I think the safer floor is going to be Deontay Johnson because he's getting 14 targets a week. He's getting an absurd amount of targets. He turns those into 14, 10-plus catches. That's 10-plus. That's 10 automatic points on top of the yardage. And if he happens to fall into the end zone, all the more I think I got to go Deontay Johnson. There's a reason why he's a fantasy stud.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean Deontay because the Pittsburgh defense is very good. I believe that the Pittsburgh defense is going to bullshit their way into another win.
It's happened before.
Yeah, a lot of times. That's why we call it bullshitting your way into a win. Okay, should you trade DJ Moore and TJ Hawkinson for Tony Pollard, George Pickens, and Dalton Kincaid?
I'm actually going to say no. Even with the running back prospect of Tony Pollard in this fantasy running back ecosystem.
I'm going to go no because I don't trust Pollard right now.
Exactly.
He's in the fancy doghouse. Although Pickens and Kincaid, I think they're not peaking, but they're getting on their way up.
Valid.
Mostert, Higgins, or D-Hop?
Mostert, Higgins, or D-Hop? Mostert, and I think I got to go. I think I like the ceiling of D-Hop more so than Higgins being tight end or touchdown heavy, TD heavy.
So I got to stay consistent with what I've said so far. I'm going to go Mostert because I believe running backs, and especially with him, he's very good. Can catch a lot of balls. He's very fast. He'll get you a touchdown. I'm going to go Mostert against Kansas City. And I'm still going to go T. Higgins for consistency because, like I said, the Bills' defense is a question mark. We don't know which one. Oh, it's his continuation from the other one. Sam Howell or C.J. Stroud?
I'm going Sam Howell all the way. I'm riding the hype train with Sam Howell. Eric Bieniemy was brought in there for a reason, and he's been distributing that ball really well.
So Sam Howell is playing the Patriots, and Stroud is playing the Bucks. I'm going Sam Howell.
There you have it.
And then here we have we both said Gus Edwards, I believe, right?
Correct.
All right. Yeah, that was like the fastest 5 minutes.
Ooh.
You got motor mouth me and
Ooh, look at that. Young star. Thank you for the questions, my man. My dude.
There's a reason why I had the crown on my head. And it's not because Fortnite's going back to season 1 tomorrow.
There you go. Look at us. All right.
Obscure reference that no one's gonna get besides me.
What? No, I play Fortnite. I've been known to lose a couple of games there. Alrighty, so finishing strong with our stardom situm wide receiver article written by Bruner on Flurry Sports. In his sit column, he has Josh Palmer at the Jets and Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Marquise Brown versus the Cleveland Browns. Any thoughts on those? Do you agree with them? You disagree?
Well, I think when we started, we were talking about Marquise Brown and how we don't know. That's a question mark there because we don't know what Clayton Tune's going to do. We don't know. It's new quarterback and a new system there. Josh Palmer, what has he done? I don't know that he's done a lot in the last couple weeks unless I'm confusing him with another Chargers receiver.
No, and you bring up a great point. He did get a little tweaked regarding injury, and then Quentin Johnson, their first-round pick, finally was able to get a career high in both catches as well as receiving yards. So Josh Palmer is currently in a lull. They are playing the New York Jets, which have been getting hotter and hotter as the year goes by. Marquise Brown, don't know who he's playing with at quarterback in regards to consistency, as well as he's playing a terrific Cleveland Browns defense. So I have to agree with Bruner, the man, the myth, the legend. There's a reason why he's behind it all here at Flurry Sports. So thank you, Bruner. That's just a thank you from me to you.
Oh. All right. Do we have any final questions, final thoughts?
You know what? Sometimes there is nothing left to say. You guys are absolutely right. God. Any thoughts tonight? Pittsburgh versus Tennessee, Thursday Night Football. What are your thoughts for fantasy or just IRL football?
Well, I want the Titans to win. I'm tired of the Steelers bullshitting their way to victories, which we've seen a lot in the last 2-3 years here. A lot of high-end talent, but again, I want Derrick Henry to give me some points.
Yeah, and I think this might be an ugly game. If you're a fan of football, you're gonna love this contest this week. I think.
Will you?
I think so. I think we're gonna try to see the real-time evaluation of Jaylen Warren versus Najee Harris in primetime television, which we haven't had so far under the scrutiny of the Thursday night lights, as well as with the Tennessee Titans. They're trying to figure out the kinks of Will Levis. This is him taking over. Ryan Tannehill 3.0 question mark. I think they're going to try a lot of stuff against this terrific Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So I think it's going to be a really interesting game for football fans. Don't quite know if that means it's an offensive shootout.
I don't want to know what Will Levis does in the bedroom with his kinks, but that's where we're going to end the show. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for putting up with the crown on my head. Thank you, Espinosa. Thank you for joining me once again as our third member to decide to not show up today. So that'll do it. Again, we have I think it was linked in the chat, wherever that is around your screen, the Fantasy Football by Committee Facebook group. We will be there throughout the week. If you just throw something in there, someone will be there to answer it. That'll do it. Thank you guys for joining us. Good night.